Hey guys, it's Cole from TCG Cardcast, and today I'm going to bring you my 40-card Jaden Yuki deck profile. So let's get into it. Starting off Jaden's deck, we of course have one copy of Elemental Hero Neos. Obviously, Neos is Jaden's ace monster. An argument could be made for Flaring Man, but we know for a fact that Neos is indeed his ace monster, so obviously we have to play it. Similar to Neos, we also need to play an Elemental Hero Avion and an Elemental Hero Burstinatrix. Again, these cards are to get out Jaden's favorite monster, which is the Flame Wingman. Then, of course, we have Clayman and Sparkman. That's just to finish out his normal type Elemental Hero monsters. We also have Bubbleman, Wildheart, Necroshade, and Blade Edge. Again, these are all just his most iconic monsters. These are the cards that he's played every single season. So, of course, they all make it into this deck. Except for, Neos, he's not played in Season 1, but every other one of these cards is played in every single season of the show, so, of course, they all have to be included. And just to give the deck a little consistency booster, I did give Jaden his Elemental Hero Prisma, which he plays once in the entire show, and that's in Season 3. But if you want to swap this out for a card that's a little better, I would say like Fifth Hope or Graceful Charity, just a draw spell to get into, or even another copy of Polymerization, but we'd have one copy of Prisma. And then to finish off our Elemental Hero cards, I have one copy of Rottweiler. Again, this card was just kind of played in every single season, and it's really useful for recycling your Elemental Hero cards and your Polymerization. Next, we have Jaden's Neospacians. Just like the Elemental Heroes, he plays every single one of these ever since he gets them. So we're playing every single one of them. We're playing a Neospacian Aqua Dolphin. We're playing a Flare Scarab, the Air Hummingbird, the Grand Mole, the Glow Moss, and the Dark Panther. Again, I think it would be silly not to play all of them. If you go online and look at, Jaden decks, that's the issue with Jaden's deck. It doesn't exactly perform very well. It pops off, it definitely does. It just doesn't open very well. And that's definitely because it has so many cards that it needs to play to be an accurate deck. So when you go online and see people playing this deck online, you'll see them playing with like 3 of the Elemental Heroes missing, and then they'll only be playing like 4 or like 2 of the 6 Neospacians. And you guys know me, I'm not really down for that kind of deck building when it comes to character decks. I prefer as accurate as I can get. Now, we're not playing any of the extra Neospacian support like Cross Porter or whatnot. We're just going straight into his like tech cards. We have a Necro Gardna, we have a Card Trooper, a Dandelion, a Winged Karibo, and you guys are more than welcome to cut these guys out for your this next set of cards out for your Jaden deck when you build it. But I do also have a Winged Karibo level 10. And onto the spells, I have a Transcendent Wings. So you guys are more than welcome to cut out the Winged Karibo package. I think keeping the one Winged Karibo is fine. And like I said, if you want to get a little more accurate with this deck, you would cut out Prisma, and you would instead of playing Prisma, Transcendent Wings in level 10, you would play like Graceful Charity, the Flute of Summoning Karibo, and then you get one free card spot that you can use for whatever. So instead of the Flute, I like to use Transcendent Wings because, again, like he actually doesn't play the Flute of Summoning Karibo every single season, but he does play level 10 every single season. So, yeah, that does make it in. Of course, we have a Neospace, a Miracle Contact. He plays this card specifically in Season 4. It's one of the only real cards from Season 4 that actually made it into this deck. So I felt kind of bad that I skipped out on my favorite season of GX, but like I said, Jaden just plays all the same stuff forever. So we got the Miracle Contact in here. Again, this card is super good. It kind of helps you cheat out your Neospacian fusions. So, yeah. We have an anime card here. This is called Contact Soul. It's kind of like the card that literally fixes the entire archetype. Contact Soul, if you control a Neos, you can just summon a Neospacian monster from your deck. From your hand deck or graveyard, actually. And then during your end phase, you have to return all monsters you control to the deck, which is not that bad because all the Neospace infusions do that anyways. You just have to not have Neospace up on the field because it will not count for Neospace. Neospace will not save it. That's all of our Neospatian cards. Onto our hero cards. We have Skyscraper. Again, this is just a classic card for Jaden. You kind of have to play it. Miracle Fusion. For some reason, he always plays all 4 of these cards, so we do got to play them in this deck. I have all 4 of the hero cards. We're not playing Hero Flash though. That card was, even if he did play that card in every single season, that card was never going to make it into this deck list. But yeah, we do have the hero monsters. And then of course we have last hero spell here we have as a fake hero. That card's really good for getting out high level monsters. For example, you can activate fake hero to summon, like, I don't know, Avion from your hand, and then you can tribute it for a Necroshade, or you can activate this to summon Neos, and then summon a Neospatian, and then you go right into a Contact Fusion. So this card really does enable you for mostly your Neos plays, honestly. But it's also really good for other stuff as well, so there's that. Then, of course, we have a Polymerization. You can't have a Jaden deck without a Polymerization. Like I said, if you want to use that open spot for the Transcendent Wings we talked about earlier, you could totally drop the Transcendent Wings for a second Polymerization, because honestly, I think the deck does need it. I also think that the deck has enough draw power and enough way of getting cards where they need to be to not need the second copy Polymerization. But if you want it, you can totally have it. And the last 2 spells we have here is a Take Over 5. It says you send the top 5 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Then during your next standby, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it and draw 1 card. So it kind of just helps you get all of your graveyard effect monsters into the graveyard. So like your Dandelion, your Necrogardna, your Rottweiler, your Necroshade, or even just elemental heroes you need in the graveyard for your Miracle Fusion, or Neospatians in the graveyard you need for your Miracle Contact. So, or hell, maybe it'll even send a normal hero for you to use for Oversoul. So, Takeover 5 is actually really, really good in this deck. You might think it's bad, but it is a really good card in this deck. And I needed to give Jaden this card. He needs to have Pot of Greed in this deck. If there's any other card in the deck I would swap out for, it's probably Convert Contact, because of its anime effect, which is you send Neospatian from your hand to the graveyard and 1 from your deck to the graveyard, and then you draw a card for every card your opponent controls. So it's a little better than Pot of Greed, and it also sets up Miracle Contact. It's just Pot of Greed just live all the time, so I went for Pot of Greed instead. And on to Jaden's traps, we have a copy of Hero Signal, a Hero Emerges, a Hero Barrier. This card you could easily swap out for Negate Attack. I just wanted to go for a Jaden card over a generic card. And then we have a Mirror Gate. This card could be swapped out for whatever you feel like. I just wanted to play Mirror Gate because, again, I wanted to play as many classic Jaden cards as I could, so yeah. So that was Jaden's main deck. Jaden's extra deck is enormous. It's massive. So before we finish, I did want to mention there's like a couple of cards that you could easily throw into the main deck to replace for all those cards that you might not want to play. I would suggest Nex. It's not the best, but if you want to go for a more accurate deck, and if you love having this massive extra deck here, it does give you more cards to shove into it, so you could do that. Defusion, Polymerization, Graceful Charity, hell, even like Cross Porter or Spell Striker are good cards that Jaden plays you could throw in there. So there's plenty of options. Play whatever you feel like. This is just what I'm the most comfortable with. I look at this deck and I'm proud that it's a Jaden deck, so it works for me. For the extra deck, I'm not really going to go super in detail. We just have every single card that he can summon with this deck, or using any other deck in my collection that he might be able to duel. So we have a Flame Wingman, a Shining Flare Wingman, a Thunder Giant, a Mudball Man, a Tempest, Rampart Blaster, an Elemental Hero Wild Edge, an Elemental Hero Mariner, an Elemental Hero Darkbright, a Plasma Vice, a Necroid Shaman, a Wild Wingman, a Steam Healer, an Electrum. Those are his last Hero fusions, everything after this point is a Neos fusion. We have an Aqua Neos, we have a Flare Neos, an Air Neos, a Grand Neos, a Glow Neos, a Dark Neos, a Magma Neos, a Chaos Neos, a Storm Neos, a Neos Knight, a Rainbow Neos, a Neos Wise Man, and an Elemental Hero Divine Neos. But that was my 40-card Jaden Yuki deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the button in the center of the screen to subscribe on the spot. Go down into the comments section below, tell me what you guys want to see next. And go down into the description, check the link to our Discord, and the link to the other character deck profiles. I've actually posted every single one of my deck profiles for this season of the deck profiles and the last season, which was Duel Monsters. I posted all of them on my Discord for you guys to download as YDK files for your Edo Pro. So, if you guys want, you can go ahead and download those, and you can put them on your Edo Pro, and you can actually play these decks online. This has been Cole from TCG Cardcast. Peace out, guys. The word Neos just lost all meaning.